How's it guys, this is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to another Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video we'll be talking about the Game Week 4 team selection as well as taking a look at how the squad got on in Game Week 3. Looking at our transfer plan as well as finally our captaincy going into Game Week 4. So that's something you're interested in, sit back, relax and let's get into it. So a new season calls for a new sponsor, but here on the Dayvy FPL channel we like our old. So I've brought back the old sponsor OneFootball but with a completely new revamped app. Yes, OneFootball has gone over a complete marketing revamp, new logo, new everything. I've checked it out, looks really good. They kind of took the old app but just made it better, so I'm really appreciative of that. If you want to go check them out, link down in the description below to go download the app. If you don't know who they are, they're the biggest app on iOS and Android, so go check them out. I personally use them, so I can recommend them from a personal level. So review of Game Week 3. Game Week 3 was quite an interesting one, relatively low scoring game week. The actual interesting thing about this game week was those who wildcarded had a lower average than those who didn't. Now those who wildcarded was probably a small sample size, but I do think that that's something to take into account to show how unpredictable this FPL season has been. For you wildcarders, I don't think there's too much to worry about. If your squad was set up for Game Week 3, I think for the upcoming game weeks it's going to be perfectly fine and you're going to reap the rewards of that wildcard, so don't worry about it too much. So our own personal team, we managed to score 44 points, which was above the average of 43 or 40. I can't really remember what the average was. It was around that 40 mark. However, we did take a -4 hit, which showed another red arrow. So we're currently sitting about just above that 3 million place. Not really where we want to be at this stage of the season, but it is still early on. We can make massive point strides in the upcoming game weeks, and hopefully that rank gets a little bit more respectable as the game weeks get on. In terms of the team, we'll start on goal with Ramsdale. Now Ramsdale, although he did get 4 points, I was highly disappointed that he didn't manage to keep that clean sheet, as he was on for 3 bonus points. He was absolutely making tons of saves there, 7 saves in total I think, which is why he got 2 extra save points, but he was on for 3 bonus points. I think 11 points would have been the total that he would have been having if they managed to keep that clean sheet, but they conceded in about the 88th minute, which was quite heartbreaking. With Ramsdale, definitely not what I want to be getting from him. He is more expensive than the other 4.5 million keepers, coming in at 5 million, so if I do need cash somewhere else in the field, I will probably downgrade Ramsdale just to get that cash flow into the midfield or the forward line. The other 4.5 options are performing better than him, and that's why I'm a little bit worried, as Sheffield United are looking like a shadow of themselves defensively. I know they've had some suspensions and injuries, but I'm still expecting a little bit more from their defense, and that's just not what we're getting. So Ramsdale, quite disappointed with him, and definitely a move that I'm going to be looking to take him out, but I never really like to spend a free transfer on a goalkeeper. The rest of the defense, Walker-Peters came in for the injured Podence. Now that move to bring in Podence was a -4, so it was actually quite annoying that Podence was out injured, because Walker-Peters just came on, but I could have played Walker-Peters instead of St. Maximum anyway, and then I wouldn't have had to take that -4 hit. So that hit was probably not worth it, but I'm just kind of hoping that Podence over the upcoming game weeks can repay that if he does manage to come back from his injury. So Walker-Peters with 6 points, Southampton managed to keep a clean sheet. As I said, I was expecting Southampton to rebound after this poor form they've shown early on, and I think throughout the season they're going to be getting some clean sheets. So if you are a Walker-Peters owner or a McCarthy owner, I don't think there's much to be worried about there. And then we have Everton here. Actually, Coleman didn't keep a clean sheet, but he managed to get an assist. And the nice thing about this was with that 1 extra bonus point, he actually managed to nullify Calvert-Lewin's effect. So Coleman assisted Calvert-Lewin's goal, and because I don't own Calvert-Lewin, I was really happy about that, because as I said, it nullified his effect. But I don't really want to be playing every single game week hoping that Coleman can nullify Calvert-Lewin, as that's simply not going to happen every single game week, and Calvert-Lewin is looking on great form, so definitely a transfer consideration that we have to consider. Alexander-Arnold with 7 points, he managed to get some bonus points as well as an assist. So 7 points against Arsenal, I was happy to take it. They managed to concede due to an error from Robertson, which is a bit annoying because it wasn't Trent's fault, but if you asked me before the game if I would take 7 points from Trent against Arsenal, I definitely would have. Finally, we have Taylor for Burnley. Now Burnley, like Sheffield United, aren't looking that great defensively from the start, but the thing with Taylor is he's 4.5. I can simply just play him when Burnley have an easy fixture, and I'm pretty sure they'll be getting a clean sheet in that one. The midfield, not much to talk about here. Obviously Podence out injured, so he goes straight onto the bench. Then we have Harvey Barnes, Leicester with that shock victory against Man City. A little bit of a shock. I mean, some people predicted it, but I think the general consensus was that Man City were going to win. With Harvey Barnes, 5 goals for Leicester and no attacking returns from Barnes. Now I know most of those were penalties, so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt there, but Harvey Barnes managed to have a really nice chance in that game, but then he fired it straight at Edison. I don't really know what to say with Harvey Barnes' finishing, but if he just makes his finishing a little bit better, he's definitely going to be getting some more points. So Harvey Barnes, if you're listening to this, just go practice that shooting in training, please, because I definitely think that you could be on for a good season. The captain, De Bruyne, managing only 2 points now. Now with Man City, I spoke about that defeat to Leicester. So Man City just weren't in that game at all. They just seemed to not be anywhere, and I was really disappointed with De Bruyne because I felt like this would be a game that he could really get some returns with. And the thing about this game week was the captaincy was really split. So if there's a split captaincy, it's always nice if you get those captain points because then you have a higher chance of going up. And with the captains not really returning this week with Timo Werner, I thought that De Bruyne could have given us a shot at a green arrow, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. And if you captained the likes of Mane or Salah, you would have had a better game week. So talking about Mane, he managed 7 points here, a goal from a Salah assist. Now Mane, there was one chance at the start of the game when Trent Alexander-Arnold whipped a cross in and Mane got onto the end of it, but if he shot anywhere else but the keeper, he would have scored because there was just simply too much power and too little time for Bernd Leno to react. But of course he shot straight at the keeper, so that would have been a lovely Mane goal, Trent Alexander assist, but some things in FPL aren't just meant to happen. So really happy with Mane, thought he was the best player on the pitch for Liverpool, so definitely keen on keeping him for these away games especially, and hopefully he can get us some returns. The forward line, it's a 2-2 game week unfortunately, and when your forward line is Martial, Werner, I'll give Mitrovic the benefit of the doubt because he is a little bit cheaper, but 9.5 and 9 million for 2 points is simply not good enough, especially when there's other players that are returning that are so much cheaper. Now with Martial, he basically hasn't even got a shot on target in these past 2 games. United overall don't look that great. Martial's not getting the service that he needs, and I just think that he's kind of floundering at that centre forward position, not really doing much. So he's a serious consideration out. Like Timo Werner as well. Timo Werner, he did have that shot off the crossbar, which I thought he would put in, but unfortunately he didn't. And just Chelsea overall also not looking that great. However, Timo Werner has at least been getting some shots on target, at least some shots and big chances created, whereas Martial's basically been nothing. If you want to look at a more in-depth analysis of the stats, you can go check out the preview I did for this game week, where I went over Martial versus Werner with quite a stats-heavy basis. With Mitrovic, I said he only got 2 points. He actually did get a lot of shots, but they weren't on target, so I was a bit disappointed because I really would have loved if Mitrovic managed to knock out that Martinez clean sheet, as quite a lot of people own Mitrovic, but also quite a lot of people own Martinez now. On the bench, nothing much to talk about. Basuma's come back from his suspension, so that's quite nice to at least have a 4.5 option off the bench if we need it. And then Ferguson, nothing much to talk about with him. Apparently he's still injured. There's been no kind of clarification of when he's going to be back. And with Nathaniel Klein now apparently about to sign for them, I'm a little bit worried about that with Ferguson. So the transfers I am planning for this game week, it's either going to be 1 or 2 of these. I will talk about other options in a little bit, but it's going to be Timo Werner or Anthony Martial to Raul Jimenez or Danny Ings. I could do both of these moves. That would be for a -4, but I don't really like Southampton's fixtures after the West Bromwich Albion game. I do think Danny Ings is going to do well this game week, but I don't really want to chop and change that much, especially with these free transfers being quite valuable. So I think it's probably going to be Anthony Martial to Raul Jimenez. None of these moves have been confirmed. I wanted to also touch on the fact that I will confirm my transfers always on Twitter. You can go follow my Twitter at DayvyFPL. There's a link down in the description below. But there's a lot of people in the comments and on Twitter that always ask me, have I done transfers? Are they confirmed? If I post it on Twitter, it's confirmed. Otherwise, I haven't made a transfer. I just wanted to give some clarification on there. The other transfer plan that I was considering is trying to find a way to bring Raheem Sterling into the squad, because I do think Sterling's probably the best captain for this game week. He's owned by about 5% of people, I think, currently. And I think against a lead side, he's going to get a lot of space in behind, and I think he's going to get a lot of returns this week. So that's why I really want to bring him in as a captaincy option. But I just think I'm going to have to rearrange the squad too much, and I would have to probably lose Mane or KDB. And I don't really know if I want to lose them with their fixtures coming up. So Martial to Jimenez is pretty much the planned transfer. However, if more injury news comes out, I might also change Timo Werner to Danny Ings. So this is how the squad is currently set up for game week 4. Without the transfer being made, as I said, I haven't made the transfer. Just stay tuned to my Twitter for the confirmation. But starting off on goal, we have Ramsdale against Arsenal. Not expecting a clean sheet in here. Sheffield United have been quite dismal defensively, and Arsenal have actually looked quite good going forward. I think they're definitely going to play a more attacking side against Sheffield United, so I'm expecting a conceded goal here, but maybe Ramsdale can get a cheeky penalty save or something there, although it's not really likely, but hopefully get some returns. The defense, we've gone for a 4 at the back because I currently am benching Mitrovic. So we've got Coleman against Brighton, who have actually looked quite lively, so I'm not expecting too much from Coleman there. Maybe some attacking threat. Walker Peters against West Brom, it's the same thing. West Brom have actually been quite good going forward, but then at the back they've also been quite bad. So maybe Coleman and Walker Peters can get some attacking returns. Alexander-Arnold faces an Aston Villa side, and I am predicting this game to be quite low scoring, so definitely a chance for a Liverpool clean sheet here, and he always offers that attacking threat, does Trent. And then Taylor against Newcastle. Now Newcastle-Burnley is probably going to be a 0-0, which is what I'm hoping for, and at least Taylor can get a clean sheet there. The midfield is definitely exciting this game. We have Harvey Barnes versus West Ham. Now West Ham have also been quite good going forward and defensively overall. We saw that with their victory against Wolves, which was a little bit unpredictable, but Barnes I think is going to get a good chance here to get some FPL returns, and I think he must, because that Man City game kind of was a null and void, and I reckon with these next two home fixtures for Leicester he's going to do quite well. And then we have Podence, who's coming back from injury. Hopefully we'll stay tuned for that in the press conferences today and tomorrow. But with Podence against Fulham's probably the best fixture to have in the Premier League at the moment, and I definitely think that Podence will start if he is fit, as the Wolves side against West Ham didn't look that great, and unfortunately I think it's going to ring some changes for them. So Podence against Fulham, hopefully he does play. We currently have the captaincy on De Bruyne because I just think that Leeds game is going to be quite high scoring, and De Bruyne can definitely get some returns. Mane against Aston Villa, I'm thinking he'll do quite well there, but I'm not really comfortable captaining Mane at the moment because I think that Aston Villa game will be quite low scoring. But if you do have Mane or Salah, they're also good captaincy options. Then we have Timo Werner against Crystal Palace at home. Now I am probably going to be giving Timo Werner another game week. I know that Crystal Palace will probably sit quite deep, and Timo Werner might start on that left wing again, which I really don't like, but if he can at least get a goal in here, it will be worth keeping him, especially because they have Southampton at home in the next game week, which I do think is quite a favourable fixture. Martial against Spurs, now this is going to be a low scoring game I feel as well, and the reason why I'm probably going to be taking Martial out, so I'm not going to touch too much on Martial because he's probably going to become Raul Jimenez, and I don't think I'll be captaining Jimenez though. I don't trust Wolves after that West Ham game that much, but I definitely think that Raul Jimenez is going to get some returns this week. On the bench we have Wolves for Mitrovic, which is why I'm benching him. I just think defensively Wolves are going to come back from that, and Fulham going forward haven't been that great, so I could always play Mitrovic depending on the injury situation with players like Podence, and maybe I'll drop one of the defenders for an attacking option, but right now this is how I'm kind of going. Then Basuma against Everton, at least he'll come on if we have two injuries or two players that don't play. Ferguson, I'm hoping for some more news from Roy Hodgson about his fitness, because definitely not looking worth holding him for this long, especially with Mitchell doing quite well. So this is basically a wrap of the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like it if you did, and subscribe if you're new, have not subscribed yet. I'll be checking you guys on my Twitter at DayvyFPL. Otherwise, hopefully in a deadline with Davey stream coming up before that deadline. I'm going to be signing off. This has been DayvyFPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.